So we had such a rainy afternoon that I wasn't able to get quite as much done. So now we're burning moon juices, getting a bit of welding in now. So all of the welding here is being done with self-shielded flex core. I'm using a Thulium multi-process welding machine. I buy these myself because they're a great price and I find them to work really well. And it's just amazing how quick you can run just really long beads on this pretty thin wall tubing without really any issues. You can control the penetration a lot with your arc length and how much you let the stick out of the wire. And so it's just, you have a lot of control over the welding, and it's pretty amazing. So the self-shielded flex core wires are available in quite a few diameters. I've been using both the 030 and the 035. I find the 030 tends to get jammed in the machine a little more frequently and breaks, but the 035 has much less trouble, but the 030 does work a little better on the really thin material. Well, I was just finishing the final weld on the truss and it stopped welding. It ran out of wire. I was like, perfect timing. So I was using the 2x72-inch belt grinder that I had built to sand down these mahogany boxes that we use for our chocolate boxes. I'm using the laser to cut them out, and then I always like to just do the final sanding with the belt sander. It just flattens everything out. And we'll do a little filing on the burnt edges so that the glue sticks better, and then we'll glue them together, do any final light sanding by hand, and then we treat it with coconut oil. That brings out the beautiful grain of the mahogany and helps preserve the wood, and it's natural and doesn't off-gas chemicals, and so that's always a great choice when you're talking about a natural organic chocolate.
I came a lot closer.
So I've been making dark chocolate for 6 years now. We have our own farm and try to do everything the natural, organic way, and the chocolate is becoming really good. We're also adding freeze-dried, locally grown fruit, so like mango and passion fruit and other things like that. So definitely some really good, unique chocolate. Let me know if you're interested in buying some. So it's morning now and we have a whole pile more to weld, but at least we can see what we're doing. And it's a lot easier with the sawhorses not being on the ground. So we're making a lot of progress. One of the things you probably noticed is how much I'm changing my arc length distance, how much I'm letting my stick out on my flex core wire. And as the gap changes, I have the machine pretty well set that if it's a tight gap, I can bring it in close and get about the perfect penetration. But as the gap increases, I just move away and hold a longer arc length, and it puts in less heat and allows me to still maintain about the same looking weld without making holes. And that's one of the real advantages of the wire welding, especially the self-shielded flex core on materials like this galvanized. Also, staying out of the smoke is very important. Galvanized welding is quite toxic to breathe, and so if I see any smoke going into my hood, I hold my breath until I can get fresh air. But often the smoke is blowing the opposite direction, and so it's not much of an issue. Today it's pretty still, so I've been having to hold my breath a lot more. So in our modern times, when it comes to designing a building, you tend to have an architect, an engineer, you have the welders, the fabricators, and they all have to work together to make a coherent design. And often the architect doesn't really know how to do a lot of the welding or other fabricating things. The engineers often haven't done a lot of building themselves, like directly. And so there's often a lot of details that get missed over or technicalities that don't go quite right. So when you have a jack of all trades like me, I might not be as good of an architect or engineer, but I have done it enough times that I really understand every detail and part of the process, and I feel like I'm able to make a more coherent, easy to assemble and build building that comes out really well, and there's a lot less conflict of interest or differences in opinion that have to be worked out between when you do it with a whole bunch of people, and ultimately that can save a lot of cost. There's a lot of sayings about jack of all trades, master of none, but sometimes better than one, and I would have to say I think there is a huge advantage in our modern world to know a lot of different types of skills. So today we're building a bunch of sawhorses. The trusses in the building so long to even assemble the gutters or the purlins. It's going to be a big help to have a whole bunch, so I'm making 8 horses and just getting them all welded today. Kind of setting up some jigs, and since the welding table is really flat, it helps to be able to put them together on here because it ensures that the horses will actually come out properly. So I'm adding an 1/8 inch plate that's 2 inches wide on the top of the legs of the sawhorses, and that adds a lot of strength from any like twisting or things because that's probably the weakest point on them. A lot of people would add a diagonal brace, but then they don't like fit together as easily when you're not using them. And so this works out really well, and I've used this design for several years and had 0 issues. They're really great. Out of welding wire again. It's wild. So this episode was mainly just welding, and there really was a lot of welding. There was several days of just welding all of the joints out, and so I thought that was important for you all to be able to see. If you have any questions or thoughts, leave them down in the comments below, and I'll try to get back with you, and I'll catch you in the next episode. You all have a great one. Bye.